Some of us are so numb that we don't even remember the last time we felt a passionate kiss, let alone feeling passion, period. Some of us have never felt passion. What does passion feel like? I mean, we've seen it in movies, we've seen it displayed, but how do we conjure it up ourselves? How do we do how do we do that ourselves? We've seen it on the big screen. But how do we make love in such a passionate way where one is up against the wall and the shirts is torn off and you're making love and all of those things? How do we do that? We've seen it done. We know it can be done. But how do we experience passion in our everyday life? Well, you know how we experience passion? We have to first get in contact what it's like to feel. And feeling is all about sensuality. Sensuality is a state of feeling, okay? It is not the state of being, it is the state of feeling what is being. Hear me. Sensuality is not being. Sensuality is the state of feeling what is being done or what is being. So, an example of that is that I just had my cup of tea, right? I have my hot kettle here to keep it warm. I can feel the warmth of the teacup in my hand. That's sensuality, being able to feel the heat. All right? I can also feel the weight of the cup. Sensuality is being able to feel the weight of the cup in my hand. Awareness means that I'm able to feel the weight of the cup in my hand, and the sensuality part is feeling it. Feeling the weight of that, feeling the weight of that, feeling the warmth actually travel throughout my arm, you know, the sensory going all the way up and firing all up in my brain, being able to feel that. And so this video is going to explore sensuality from my book, The Return of the Divine Feminine. And I want to ask you the question, when was the last time you made love? When was the last time you felt passionate? When was the last time you were able to evoke that passion in someone else? Um, and we talk about that in The Return of the Divine Feminine, that there are four winds to femininity. And femininity is just not about perfume, makeup, and all. That's silly stuff. That's the stuff, well, let me not say silly. That's the stuff, it's necessary. It's like, the icing on the cake. That's the stuff that we do after we do the inner work, right? But there are four winds of femininity in my book, The Return of the Divine Feminine. And we'll get into that as we evolve it with these videos. But we did a video the other day called Intuition. And intuition in my book is the number one most powerful superpower of women and femininity being expressed. Intuition. The second, of course, is sensuality, being able to feel and being able to evoke emotion in others. Women do that quite naturally. It's a divine superpower. Hence why the book is called The Return of the Divine Feminine. All of the things that we were given divinely that are natural to women, those things are what we are relearning. We are returning back to that natural state of being. So being able to feel a kiss once it touches your lips, being able to interpret what that feels like with your body, and being aware of that kiss, and being in that kiss. And the sensuality part is being aware of what's being done, right? The sensuality part is being able to now feel that, but then transfer that energy to your lover and be able to evoke that back in him. And it doesn't always have to be about being in your lover. Sensuality can also be about filling up a room with your energy. Feeling the room with your entire body. When I walk into a room, how does my essence precede me? Is because what is going before me is my energy. And so as I am in the room, I am and it's like an invisible force field that is spreading, right? And I'm feeling up the atmosphere with my being. That is someone who has a strong presence. How does someone come in and completely change the atmosphere? Well, that person is probably feeling their environment. They are aware of their environment and they feel it up with their essence completely. They are feeling it. They are very sensual about their environment. And then when we view sensuality in entertainment, we can see it quite naturally. What I've learned about sensuality, especially in young women in entertainment, is that they have not been told how to ground that superpower. Now, see, you got to be careful when it comes to the superpowers of femininity, is because if not taught how to ground that, if we're not taught how to ground that energy, then that energy could actually overtake us. And then what will happen is we'll be misunderstood because now we're leading with that one four winds of femininity, right? Um, if we don't know how to ground it. And so I did a video on a young lady by the name of Chloe Bailey. And I said that in this video, if you go back, it was almost a year ago I did that video. But I also said in that video that her sister Hailey should be coming into hers pretty soon. I saw a video of her sister doing a video singing the new song. What's that song? Hours and hours and hours and hours. How does it go? You put me up on the counter. How does it go, y'all? I can't even think. But that song, the reason why that song resonated with so many people is because it has a sensual undertone that most people, number one, they can identify with. Even if they haven't felt it or done it, there is a deep desire to want to experience that level of sensuality. So the young lady who sings that song is singing it with a passion and she is feeling each note. And so when that energy transfers to your eardrum, you can feel it. So she's transferring that. Now in this video, Hailey was singing hours and hours. I don't know the song. I can't even sing number one. But she was singing that song. And I noticed that outwardly she was experiencing her sensuality. She was feeling her sensuality outwardly, meaning, their physical appearance, feeling okay in her body. That's the first example that a woman is walking into that stage of her life, is that so she will feel comfortable wearing a nice bralette with her boobs out, because that's the stage of life that she's in. She's walking further into her femininity. And so I predicted that she would be coming into hers because age-wise, she is close to that period anyhow. But what I realized is that um, her sister Chloe, that's her name, Sister Chloe, has not learned how to ground that energy. And so what happens is that energy will precede her. But then when you look at someone who has mastered the art of grounding their energy when it comes to sensuality, Beyonce does that very well. And she talks about going in and out of that with Sasha Fierce, allowing Sasha Fierce to come forward. And you can talk, oh, that's a demon. People say some silly things when they don't understand human biology. They say silly things, or when they don't understand the spiritual aspect of human beings. But that is the part of herself that allows her to be free enough to experience that part of herself without judgment, without fear. And so that sensuality, what is the song? Driving around up the partition, please. I don't want to see you say on her knees. What did she say? Took 45 minutes to get all dressed up, but we ain't gonna even make it to this club. Take all of me. I just want to be the kind of girl you like. The kind of girl you like is right here with me. It's terrible. Don't y'all laugh at me in the comments. But that moment, she does that, but then she could come back with a ring the alarm. I'll be damned if I see another chick on your arm. Ring the alarm. Make up for so long. I'll be damned if I see another chick on your arm. That is the perfect example of exploring and allowing that sensuality part of your being to come forward. And then the balance of that is the ring the alarm. Those two polarities on that definitely completely ends at the spectrum. But what it allows you to do is it allows you to be viewed as multi expressive versus just completely sensual or over sexual. So if you don't learn how to ground your sensuality, it will lead you. It will lead you. So you actually can't even control it. You'll post a video where you're licking a lollipop. That is true and it's coming from you, but it means that it has completely become your person. So here's what I'm trying to teach you in this video. I went to Chloe and Hailey To give you an example, that at some point every woman is going to go through that part of her life, but if she doesn't get trained on how to use it, how to hone in on how to ground it, that energy can lead them, and then what will happen is that eventually that person, they get trapped right in that space, and no one will be able to see them outside of that sensual being, which is not a bad thing completely all the time. But when you want to be the master of yourself, you have to know when it's okay to bring that sensual person out, and then to be able to hone that back in and to ground yourself, so that then you could either work on, you could work on other projects, and then people will be able to take you at that level. Let's say someone who's been, and they call it typecasting in acting, where you do something so well that it's hard for you to get another part. You've heard that before, right? Typecasting happens with women too, when they haven't learned how to hone in or ground their energies, especially sensuality. Because sensuality is so powerful, it can easily trip over into promiscuity or eroticism. So it's one of those things that you have to really learn how to ground, because if in fact that energy overtakes you, then what will happen is you will be mistypecast as someone who is over sexual, um, or or too much out there, and people are going to have their thoughts regardless, right? But when you are the master of your energies, right, then you control the narrative. You control the narrative when you are the master of your energies. But when in fact you haven't learned how to control it, the reflection that you get back from the public is just a mirror. Even though we can say, well, people say what they want to say, they're going to say what they want to say regardless. That is still a mirror that we cannot deny, right? It's a symptom that the energy has overtaken you. And then what will happen too is that you'll do some things that you regret. You're like, oh my God, why did I post that video of that? Let me go ahead and return. I mean, it happens to me too. It happens to all of us, especially women who are experiencing all these different things. And remember what I told you, that my mentor said, that women are even a mystery unto themselves, let alone just a mystery, period. So being able to ground your energy means that you're able to express that sensual side when it's time. Okay? When it's time. When you are doing drive a roll up the partition, please. They don't want to see you and say, "Yo, honey, took 45 minutes to get all dressed up, and we ain't going to even make it to this club." Something like that, right? And then on the other side of that, right? Leave me alone. Leave it alone. I'll be damned if I see another chick on your arm. Those are two totally different extremes, but that is called mastery. Energetic mastery. Being able to flip flop within the same hour performance, being able to go from one energetic extreme to the other energetic extreme to the other, and being able to bounce back and forth and be able to express that just as powerful. Just be able to ring the alarm. That's an energy. That's a ringing up. That's an energy that you are pulling up from your base chakra. That's an energy. And then when you were talking about that, take all of me. I just want to be the kind of girl you like. Where's that energy coming from? The kind of girl you like is right here with me. Think about that. I want you to go play that song. If you haven't done it, play that song. See how that song feels to you. Practice your sensuality. See how it feels to you, right? And then I want you to, right after that, play Ring the Alarm. And then tell me in the comments, what does that evoke in you? What do you feel? Do you feel powerful? Do you feel like you want to fight for your family and fight for your man? And what do you want to do when you hear that song? Because this person, this entertainer, has mastered the art of grounding. And when you have mastered the art of grounding, you can transmute the energy, okay? You can easily, switch on the spectrum. You can easily switch on the spectrum, right? But not only can you switch on the spectrum, but you can transmute that. You can give it out, so that when I give this energy out, you get it through the screen. That's master of energy, right? So I'm going to read from my book. What's my book name? I'm going to read from my book, The Return of the Divine Feminine, and then I'm going to come back and finish up this chat with y'all, okay? Sensuality and its power. To allow pleasure and to be pleased, to provide pleasure and be pleased, this is the ultimate expression of eroticism. And somewhere in between, we find sensuality. Karima McGee. That's me, y'all. In my experience as a healer, I've witnessed many women in touch with their feelings. However, the trouble is, I've found that the feelings that they are most often in touch with are emotional in nature and are deeply related to issues of mistrust, relationships, or abandonment issues. Most time, they believe those feelings to be linked to their intuitive nature. The trouble I find with this is if a woman can be as in tune with her intuitive nature to sniff out a untrustworthy friend or a cheating lover, can she not use this same skill to find trustworthy friends or a loyal lover? These same women struggle with feeling much of anything else. They've learned to develop their senses to further give power to their ability to sniff out a wrongdoer. My hope with this chapter is to give light to the fact that we have other faculties that need to be developed. Mastering the four winds of femininity. Okay. It is key. However, when it comes to sensuality, we must be able to feel. We cannot be sensual women when we haven't developed the ability to feel emotions other than those that throw us into fear, shame, or self loathing. We can't be sensual women when we haven't felt passion or when we don't know what it's like to create passion and lust. Those are things we can create. We can't be sensual women when we haven't felt the kiss, a kiss happening, feeling it on our necks, not just feeling the kiss happening, but feeling how it's happening and allowing the body to move and interpret the textures of the lips that kiss the neck and how they moved on the neck and feeling it and allowing the body to interpret how that felt. That sensuality, feeling is sensuality, and sensuality is feminine in nature. It's our nature to feel as women, but somehow what we feel most often is not serving how we would like to feel. We must give ourselves permission to feel again. Listen, okay, I can't even read anymore because you have to get the book. We have to do this together. This is a journey. Femininity is not just about what you put on, it is about who you are. The Return of the Divine Feminine, available on Amazon.com. Until next time, be empowered, be inspired, and be well. Love y'all.